everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Maral. I'm a channeler, I'm a therapist, and I'm a counsellor. And today I want to discuss this topic of compassion. I really want to bring the understanding of compassion more and just that complete understanding of what it is and how we can put that, place that in our lives as well. I think that's very important. So as always, I'm guided. So I get some downloads in through the session connecting to the quantum as I do, because that's part of the work that I do is through the quantum field. And today I have asked one of my galactic family guides, who are the Pleiadian family, who, as I can feel them right now, have just stepped in and they said they're happy to help this session for the understanding of compassion and how we can implement that in our lives. So the Pleiadians, as I can feel them again, are very... I want to use the word expansive. Like, it feels quite expansive and quite big and powerful, but in a very gentle, very loving, compassionate, nurturing. It feels kind of quite feminine to me, but I know there's a big mix of masculine and feminine everywhere, because we all have that in us. But very powerful in their feminine, very... playful. I kind of want to say wild, but in a very playful way, creative, expressive, a lot of heart energy, a lot of stuff with sound I can always feel in them, like always like this sound vibration that they bring in, the understanding of that they bring in from many for many years, as I'm being told, in a very creative, expressive nature that they have. So they are a part of my galactic family. So they are the guides that I kind of call to in my own life as well. And I find just the energy, just with pure love and compassion, just so nurturing and beautiful. So, okay, so I have asked them to help me with this session. So we are going to start talking about compassion. So the reason why I wanted to explore this topic of compassion is I have found with the work that I do and also what I've gone through in my life, that compassion is a game changer. Like, it's a massive, massive game changer. I did a video early on at some point about feelings, and feelings and compassion, they're kind of saying, yeah, they go hand in hand. Compassion starts from understanding, feeling into your feeling and being present with your feeling. Compassion in itself, as I'm being told, is like a major, major healing that's really needed. It's a step as part of healing that's really needed in order to ground yourself. Interesting, really to ground yourself. And yes, they're right. I have experienced this myself. So in moments in my life, and there was one particular moment in the past where I have felt ungrounded. And I remember getting this message of grounding myself and bringing compassion. And I actually felt that for a while, actually. But when I got that message, it kind of confirmed what I was feeling. There is something about compassion. It helps us feel grounded within ourselves, within our body, which is really needed. Why? Because healing cannot happen unless we are within our body. Healing does not happen on an intellectual level. No, that is not what healing is. So there is a lot of words that are being used, a lot of information that's being put out there, videos that you might watch, even, in some books, TV, media, all sorts, right? Social media, where it's all about the wording of healing. So as in, for example, sorrow, sadness, feeling hurt, feeling anger, all this stuff. That's fine. Okay, these words are fine. However, unless we are bringing that feeling, we are feeling that feeling within our body, nothing can actually get done, because what's happening is then we are bypassing what's actually needed within our body. And that's why bringing in compassion, it's so important. Now, compassion is, and I want to get this right from them, they're kind of saying it's what you already know. It's hard to put into words. Okay, I want to start by saying, okay, yes, the victim, there is no victim mentality in compassion. You've got to understand compassion and victim mentality are completely separate things. Having a victim mentality is like I'm kind of being shown like an anger, like I've been done wrong and the world is against me, right? And in that mode of whether it's anger, disempowerment, which is very connected with the anger, it's a lot of disempowerment that comes with that from anger, yes. We are again bypassing what's real. So this is not being in the victim. It's not being, it's not putting your shield up either and being that kind of in a protective mode. No, it's not what they're saying. It's not repeating the same cycle of, I'm not good enough. This is my identity. This is who I am. No, compassion is actually almost like the opposite of that. Compassion is kind of saying, what I went through as a child, as a little girl, as a little boy, was really hard. It was really hard. And even me, like, bringing that in and hearing this and feeling this, I'm even already, I can feel the compassion, because even those words, and which is the part of that underneath the words is the feeling, I can feel that there's so much crying in that. There's so much sorrow in that. And that's what compassion is. Compassion is feeling for yourself. It's feeling for that part of you that was lost, that was once you, but was lost. It was disconnected because of disempowerment, because of abuse, because of harsh realities of life, because of things that obstacles that were put in front of you in your life, things that you didn't want to see, things that you didn't want to go through, right? But you did go through. But in those moments, there was almost these experiences of almost kind of like trauma that happened. And so it affected your body. And your body has been stuck. These experiences have been stuck in your body. And so what happens with compassion is that you are bringing pure love energy in, complete unconditional love for yourself. That means no judgment. That means no judgment for what you did or didn't do when you were younger, what you went through. No judgment for what that person did to you. But mainly, yes, it's the judgment that you're putting on yourself. The reason why we can't feel compassion towards ourselves, because it is very hard. It's hard for everyone. They're saying a lot of people, because I've seen this in all of my clients, and I've gone through the same thing. It's so hard to have compassion for yourself. But the reason why compassion is so difficult for people is because of this anger mode. When in anger, and they're saying, yes, because I've realized this myself, in anger, what happens is that we are disconnected from any self-compassion. When we bring self-compassion in, the anger goes away. It just kind of lifts off. Self-compassion is really needed for anger, for all emotions, but especially anger. There's this direct link between self-compassion and anger. When we feel angry, when we express anger, it's because we are really, really not having any self-compassion for ourselves. Anger is like it's like a blaming of someone else for something they're not doing, but actually what's happening is that you are completely blaming yourself. You are completely blaming yourself. Deep down, that's actually what's going on. We can't really blame anyone. It's all about how we feel. In anger, it's about disempowerment. So we come back to ourselves and we feel anger. We feel like we have done wrong. It's not about anyone else. We know that. In anger, it's about blaming ourselves. And in anger, we keep holding on to this blame, this guilt that we've been carrying with us for doing something wrong or not doing the right thing. But if we bring self-compassion, which is the feeling, the love for that part of you, for that child, for that many parts of your life that you went through, which is just deep, unconditional, completely non-judgmental love, right? Which is unconditional love. And you are right there with the feminine, then you completely surrender and you completely be in that moment. And I've experienced this, yes. And they're saying, look, I had this, my own personal journey. As part of my personal journey, I remember having this, I think almost maybe 2 weeks, week and a half to 2 weeks of just complete self-compassion. And this is after, 40 years. So, it's not easy, but complete self-compassion for about a year, 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks, where it was constant crying, where I just couldn't control it, because once the energy came in, it just had to keep on doing what it needs to do, which was the release, which was the entering of the feminine for the healing to happen. Yes. Self-compassion is so needed. It's so needed. It helps you bring everything back to you, back to your body, to be able to heal. Because remember, healing cannot happen on an intellectual level. No, it has to happen within your body. Understand that you have got power to bring compassion for yourself. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to? What are you holding on to? And this can be very unconscious, things that we're not aware of. And that's why things like therapy can help, because it can bring that out. But many of us, if not all of us, are holding on to something, and we keep going into that mode, whether it's victim mode, whether it's like protector, putting up your shield and not going there and not letting your heart be open for the transformation to happen. Yes, like I talked about in that depression video, transformation has to happen. And in compassion, it is your heart. It is bringing complete love in, because you need to understand, everyone needs to understand, we as humans, you have gone through so much grief, so much loss, so much trauma, so much abuse in your lives. And this is everyone to some extent. Everyone, yes. However small you feel like it is, even in this life, you feel like you haven't experienced that. In many past lives, you would have experienced that. Souls choose different things depending on the life that they're coming into. Some souls choose some big, hard, lots of things to go through. They're saying like me, but some others as well. And some souls choose a more simple life, because they may have very likely have experienced a lot of hardship in their past lives, right? So, but however small it might be, still feel compassion for yourself. It's really, really important. And I know that I've experienced this myself, and I say this to all my clients, compassion is the number one game changer. But the beginning of it can be difficult, because we feel like we're not worthy. We're not worthy of loving ourselves. But that, I'm being told, that's the mind that does that. That's the story that's being fed. That's not real. Remember, fear is not real. It's not true. What is true is how you actually feel. And that's why compassion is very important. It is the number one step for healing. It is the number one step for healing. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you to my guides. And yeah, I hope that message resonates, or that is understood on some level, because it really is such a big way, such an important transformational way of healing, and just bringing that heart energy in, surrendering to what is in your body, and letting the compassion be, and cry, cry, cry. And it helps you to be more in your body as well, for the grounding, for the healing to happen.